Now, although I've made $1 million, for some reason I feel confused, I feel lost. Sometimes I feel like I've got no purpose. And throughout the week, there's days that I'm really depressed and down. And I think I know the reason why, and I want to explain it in this video. So, did making $1 million at 21 years old make me happy? Now, I'm 25 years at this current stage, so I've had a few years to reflect on how it's changed my life for the better or for the worse, or am I just the same? Now, I'm aware that most of you that are watching this assume that making $1 million will naturally make you happier and give you a better life. So if you're watching this and you're really thinking about becoming a millionaire and you're willing to put that first over everything, I want to have a one-to-one conversation with you. Or if you're currently watching this and you're confused and lost, then this is a great way for me to explain to you that even if you're at rock bottom, or you've just made your first $1,000 in the savings account, or $10,000, or it doesn't matter where you are, if you're just not a millionaire yet, this is important for you to know that even as a millionaire, I feel lost, confused, and sometimes even depressed. Now, I remember making my first $1 million very well because I was on the train and I was on the way back to see my mom and dad, and I was refreshing my bank account on the app because I had a big payout into the bank, and I remember it changing to $1 million. Now, straight away, I had excitement, I was overwhelmed, I was just so happy. And within literally a minute, all of those emotions literally disappeared. And I started instantly thinking about the next million, $10 million, $20 million. I think the biggest moment when I hit that number and I was on the train was I started to have this reflection moment. I was thinking to myself, how did I even get here? How do I deserve to even be here? How did this even happen? I was never, ever meant to be a millionaire. I don't have any grades. I never worked at any good jobs. I suffer from really bad learning difficulties like dyslexia, ADHD, I suffered from depression even before I became a millionaire. So I just technically never was meant to become a millionaire. So when it happened, I just started asking all these questions. How did it happen? Why did it happen? What did I do? And you start going down this really dark hole of understanding how it actually happened. Straight away after becoming a millionaire, for some reason, my mindset became, I've got to make sure that I don't lose the millionaire status. I've got to keep it. So whatever I do, I can't lose it. Now, naturally, with being a business owner, you're going to make losses, you're going to make wins. So literally within a few months later, I took a massive loss and I was no longer a millionaire again. So for the first 2 years of being a millionaire, I was always chasing the fact of staying a millionaire. So when you become a millionaire, you instantly have that problem of wanting to stay a millionaire, and it makes you get into some really bad habits of obsession. You're just obsessed with this millionaire status. Now, I would actually say that when I became a millionaire, the first 2 years of being a millionaire, I was actually at my lowest point. I lacked purpose. I lacked any confidence. I was suffering from depression. Now, I do want to address the main things like, well, when you're a millionaire, you've got safety, you've got security, you don't have to worry about these things. And I definitely agree with that. When you become a millionaire, even before a millionaire, as soon as you've got a few $100,000 in the bank account saved, you no longer have to worry about paying the bills, worrying about all these types of things. So naturally, that form of pain or worry goes. But then one door closes, which is worrying about bills, and another door opens, which is insecurity and feeling lost or not knowing where you should be. So when you start to develop more income and become a millionaire, you start to think, well, what's my purpose now? Why am I here? And then that negative door really does open. You start questioning everything like, are my friends really my friends? Are they gonna switch on me? Are they gonna treat me differently? Are they gonna look at me differently? You start looking at anything, like anyone in your life. When you go out in public and you're at a restaurant and somebody asks you what you do, I actually lie and I don't tell them what I actually do. And I don't know if that's good or bad. When somebody says to me at a restaurant or if I'm in public, oh, what do you do for a living? I actually tell them that I'm at university, or if I look too old for that person to think I'm too young, I would say that I work for, let's say, the council. I just don't tell people that I have an online business, I'm successful. I literally do not like telling people because I feel insecure telling them. And I feel like people would just treat me different if I tell them that I'm this guy on YouTube, I have these online businesses. I just feel like people would treat me different, and I don't want that. You instantly create this state of panic when you're in this position that I'm in now, where you're worried about what everyone thinks of you. Do people actually know who you are? Do they know that you're successful? You just have all of these worries that build up. And when we talk about friendships and friends and close friends, you start to worry about, okay, well, I've got all this status and income and money. Now, are they going to worry about socializing with me because they're going to think that I want to go to a fancy restaurant, I want to go to a fancy, holiday destination? People just assume that you're going to change because your life and your finances have changed. I feel like the more money that I've made and becoming a millionaire has made me naturally awkward in front of people. People will say that, like, when I'm talking to you, you don't seem like you're with me, you're not in the same room as me, your mind's somewhere else. And it goes back to what I was saying before, which is when you get to this position, you open new bad doors of going down a dark hole of worrying about all these other things in life. Will my business survive? You start thinking, oh, am I going to be poor in 3 years? Am I going to lose everything because all my businesses are going to tank to zero? You start thinking about the worst outcomes. Okay, I made all this success, but it can all go very quickly as well. So you naturally start to have all these dark things going in your mind that can ruin your socializing, because you're in a room with friends and family, new people, and you're just sat there thinking about, oh, am I going to lose all my money? Is one bad thing going to wipe me out? What's going to happen in 5 years? I don't even know in the next 3 to 5 years where I'm going to be. I can't even think that far because I'm too busy panicking about the next year, this year, what's going to happen this year. This really affects how you are around friends and family and just new people that you come to interact with on a daily basis. Now, if we start talking about family, this is one of the harder ones for me to talk about because, your mom and dad always want to parent you and look after you and give you the best advice. But when you make so much money very, very quickly and within such a young age, you naturally think you're a lot more mature than you are. You think that you know more than more people. So when your parents try and give you life advice, you kind of tell them that I don't need it because you're already way too far in life in terms of advancement of where you should be. So you say to your family, like, look, mom, look, dad, I pretty much know what I'm doing. I've already got here very quickly. I think I know what I'm doing. So you naturally have this type of ego that can, hurt your family because they're trying to be really good to you by giving you some advice. And the thing is, family will always treat you as their son or their daughter, and they don't care how much money you have, how successful you are. You're always going to be their son or their daughter. So in terms of the advice they'll give you, it doesn't matter if you're a billionaire, a multimillionaire, they're always going to give you the same advice. And sometimes being in this position, it's hard to listen to because it's annoying. It's like, oh, I don't need to know this. I don't need to know that. I already know this. So it makes you build this character of, you know more than everyone else, and it's hard to understand that till you reflect back and look back and say to yourself, like, this is actually what's happening to me slowly and I need to fix it. Now, the next thing that I want to address is the come up story. So on the way to becoming a millionaire, you naturally will create really toxic traits of hustling 24/7. Oh, I've got to work every single day. I've got to work 12 hours a day. I can't go out with friends and family on the weekend. I've been with my wife now for 8 years. So I met her when I had nothing, by the way. And I remember, postponing date nights, socializing with her because I wanted to create my business and become rich. And on the come up, you just become such a lone wolf and you don't want to do anything. You just build these toxic traits that you live with for even when you become a millionaire, that I still live with now, which I'm getting better at. But the point I'm trying to make is you want to be this super successful person that hasn't got time for anyone. You put this first over everything and you just don't know when your life's going to end. Your life could end tomorrow, but then you've lived your whole life just grinding and hustling and not spending time with family and friends, which is toxic. You start correlating your happiness to what number is in your bank account. So if you haven't got close to $1 million over the yearly period, you're naturally going to be more depressed because you're saying to yourself, well, I can't have happiness. I don't deserve to have happiness till I have that $1 million. So you correlate your happiness to that $1 million. And if time goes by and you're not achieving the success to get you there, you assume straight away, I'm not happy. You're out at social events, you're out with family, always on your phone, checking what's going on with your business. You're checking, oh, has my investment made me money? You're not living in the moment, you're living on that phone that you're dying to get you to $1 million. So I really want to address the fact that the come up to becoming a millionaire can really make you depressed and socially awkward. It can create anxiety, having panic attacks in the night. Oh, did my business make the right decision? You wake up in the middle of the night, you can't sleep. There's nights where I just can't sleep because I'm too busy thinking about, did I make the right decision? Have I done the right deal with the right person? You literally create some form of insomnia where you can't sleep because you're just constantly under stress. So these are things that I think are important for you all to know. I just feel like with this whole millionaire woke kind of thing, like everyone shows you the green lights, the positivity, but no one shows you the effect that has on you mentally. Like, I'm 25 years old, but for some reason, I feel like I'm 45. Like, I feel tired a lot. I feel like all the hustling that I did when I was younger to get here has really just tired me out, and it's just made my tolerance less. So like when I meet people, my tolerance is so low because I don't want to deal with people's BS, because I can't even deal with my own BS sometimes. So these are the things that I think are so important for you to know, because if you're watching this, and I hope you are, and you're really paying attention to it, you can really monitor these things whilst you're doing it. Because when I was like on the come up, I didn't realize these things were happening until I hit that $1 million status. And then the 2 years later, I reflected on how much I actually changed. And the point that I'm trying to make is, now being a millionaire for the last, 4 years, it's only just been in the last year and a half, 2 years where I'm actually enjoying it now. I'm actually more positive, I'm happier, I'm learning how to deal with it better. I'm looking at how to deal with life better. So like, the point I'm trying to make is, becoming a millionaire, those few years it takes or 5 years it takes, you're under a state of a lot of change. You're constantly changing the way you are. And then once you hit it, you then have those few years of adjusting to it and understanding your purpose. And that's what I want to talk about. I feel like for me, purpose is everything. Knowing what you're on this earth to do. What is it that you're trying to achieve? What is it you're trying to do? Doing things that you don't normally do. A lot of people, when they want to become a millionaire, they get fat, they get lazy, they get overweight, because again, they're just focusing on making that $1 million. Everything else doesn't matter. My health doesn't matter, my diet doesn't matter, because I'm chasing that $1 million. So I know loads of people that are grinding to become a millionaire, but they're overweight. They don't have good habits. They don't eat good food. So has becoming a millionaire made me happier, or has it given me happiness? I would say that it took away a lot of happiness throughout my journey and at the point of becoming a millionaire. But for the last year and a half, 2 years, I've learned how to turn it into a good thing. I've learned how to do things that make me happy. I've learned how to keep the business separate from my personal life. I've learned how to detach the negative things. But I would honestly say, once you can look after your bills, you can look after your family, as soon as you can do things where you don't have to worry about the price tag, you can go to restaurants that you like, you create a new form of happiness. But you also have to understand, millionaire happiness is not more prestigious than normal happiness. I think that if you're watching this, you have to understand that becoming happy is correlated to your daily habits and what your purpose is. Now, if I would say, based on like a percentage calculator, becoming a millionaire, does it make you 20% more happier than when you're not a millionaire? I would say that it's around about 20 to 30% more. People just think that when you become a millionaire that your happiness will skyrocket. Once you learn how to deal with it and you conquer the issues and the habits of being a millionaire and the bad ones that you've accumulated over time, I feel like your happiness will increase by like 20-30%. Because like I said, the room to failure has become bigger. Like, you're gonna drop from here to here, you've got to always think about that, but you learn how to deal with it. But I wouldn't say that you become like 80% more happier. You can just do things when you want, how you want. You can live life more on your own terms, but then you've got to learn how to deal with these things. And that's the bit that everyone misses, which is, how do you deal with all these things? I was 21 years old when I became a millionaire. How do I deal with that responsibility? No one really tells you or teaches you how to deal with that responsibility. And that responsibility is what creates these toxic loopholes and tunnels of unhappiness. So what I want you guys really to take away from this video and me opening up to you is, if you're on the journey of becoming a millionaire, which again, my hat goes off to you, anyone that hustles to become a millionaire, especially if they come from nothing, you've got a lot of my respect. But I think if you're watching this, that if you're giving yourself a timeline, I've got to do it in 3 years, I've got to do it in 2 years, I've got to do it in 4 years. If you have that mindset, you're going to become very unhappy very quickly. You're going to create dark habits and dark tunnels that you do not want to open, because once they are open, they are very hard to close and manage. Literally look at it like a ticking time bomb. You are the time bomb, and if you put a timer on it, you will eventually blow up and you'll go through a crazy state like I did for 2 years, 3 years, which is you feel lost, you feel depressed, You don't know why you're here. You're scared of failing. You're scared of losing everything. So you have to learn to just take your time with it. Don't neglect your friends. Don't neglect your family. Don't neglect your loved ones. You know, since I've become a millionaire, I've got married. I've learned how to spend more time with my wife, travel more, leave my business at home, and, you know, change these two things into business and personal life. Now, I would also say that if you're struggling to get happy at this current time, then getting that $1 million isn't instantly gonna fix it. It might fix it over time, but the point I'm trying to make is, if you can't create some form of happiness now, then you never will, even with that $1 million. So the point that I'm trying to make is, if you can't create happiness now at your current situation in life, then, you know, once you become a millionaire and you realize that it won't make you happy instantly, you're now going to drop into this dark tunnel of, why didn't it make me happy? Why didn't it increase my happiness by 10x or 100x? Now, the things that I can tell you right now that will increase your happiness like instantly, which isn't $1 million, is number one, purpose. Figure out what your purpose is and do it. Number two, if you haven't already, figure out if you want to go down a religious journey. Like for me, I've always been born a Muslim. I was always a Muslim, raised in a Muslim household. And, you know, growing up, I wasn't that attached to my religion. And then, you know, at around about, you know, the start of my journey, I was slowly getting back into it. And as soon as I hit like more success, my religious beliefs would grow. My, you know, me being more strict with my religion and more, you know, appreciating it and doing it got stronger. You know, like I've never been stronger to my religion than I am today. After making that $1 million and realizing that it doesn't make you happy, it made me realize that, you know, I need to go back to my religion, and now that's made me more happier. Now, it doesn't matter whether you're a Muslim, Christian, or whatever religion you follow, whether you want to go down a spiritual journey, it doesn't really matter to me, but the point I'm trying to make is, I think this is one of the biggest aspects of life that can make you happy once you figure it out. I also say that getting married made me a lot more happier, because, you know, I found the person that I'm going to spend the rest of my life with, have kids with, etc., etc. So I do believe there's things you can do right now that can make you more happier than $1 million. And those are a few things that I would say. You know, I started taking my fitness a lot more serious recently, and that's made me happier. Going for runs, going boxing, doing all these physical activities has made me a lot more happier. Getting outside more, experiencing the world. It doesn't mean traveling, just being in this park and walking around the park makes me happy. You know, getting to that $1 million, I was sat at my laptop grinding it out. I didn't get to see daylight. I didn't get out to see, you know, the nature, and just sitting here makes me happy. I think you realize after making that $1 million that the simple things in life will make you a lot more happier than the crazy things. So did $1 million make me happy? The answer is, it made me realize what makes me happy. It didn't actually make me happy, but it made me realize after going through a dark journey what actually makes me happy. And I would have never have known that if I didn't become a millionaire. Now, I do believe that as I grow up and I become older, I have kids, I will then respect and enjoy the $1 million a lot more, because I'll be able to look after my children better. I'll be able to, you know, give them what they want, give them a better life, etc., etc. So I believe that I'm on a journey, and I feel like the $1 million that is so powerful won't be shown till I have my kids, because of course having kids is expensive, giving them a good life is expensive, and I think having that will give them that life. But then I also panic about, will I have the money by the time they're born? I could lose it. So these are all the crazy things that you think about. So if you're watching this and you're wondering if you should become a millionaire because it'll make you happy, there's pros and cons to it. It's not an instant fix. Now, if you're watching this and you feel lost, or you feel like you don't have purpose, or you feel anxious, don't get it twisted. Even people like me, and even more successful, I've met even more successful people than me, they all experience anxiety, feeling lost, not understanding why they're here. We all experience it. It doesn't matter how much money you've got, it doesn't change that fact. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to open up to you, and that's the purpose of this YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. It's just me being more personal with you guys, telling you my life lessons, my experiences over time, talking about topics that you probably wouldn't see me talk about. So if you've enjoyed this video, let me know in the comment section below. I'll catch you on the next video.